Hello everyone, welcome back to Creatively Crafty Me. I am Charlena, and today's video I'm going to show you a few of the projects that I have going on, as well as some projects that I would like to start. This right here is actually a scrap yarn project. I just took all the different shades of pink yarn that I could find and worked up as many granny squares as I could. Right now I am in the process of making a granny square sweater. I chose to use some scrap yarn to create this sweater. I just picked out all the pink yarn that I had in the different colors. I did have other colors, other shades of pink that I was also working up at one point, but I really didn't like it. So I decided to take that out. I also at one point in time was putting a border around the original granny squares before I added the beige, but I honestly didn't like how that looked, so I started taking out all of the borders. I have 5 different shades currently, and I do have several granny squares of each shade. I just found I took the color that I had, whatever yarn I had, I worked it up, and when I ran out of that yarn, I just started on another shade. So I managed to get this many in this particular shade of pink. So it's just all different shades of pink. I have that one and that shade of pink. I have quite a few also in this shade of pink. So I've just been making granny squares. First I started with the inside color, and then I added the border that I took out, and then I added the beige. This particular one here, this variegated yarn, is the one that I have the most of because it's what I had the most yarn. So I have quite a bit of those, and still even more that I have not added any of the other colors to. I also have this shade of pink. This is all I managed to get. This was all I had enough yarn for, was to make 6 of them. So that's it in that color. And then I also have this shade of pink as well. So yeah, I do believe I will have enough to actually finish the sweater. Like I said, I just took all the different shades of yarn that I had. I worked them all up. I still have several unfinished squares. Like I said, I have plenty of this variegated yarn. See, that was a shade that I started to work up and didn't really like, so I decided to exclude it. And this one as well, this really bright, well, it's not showing up too bright here, but this is actually very bright, so I decided not to use that. But I have still plenty of squares left with the borders on. I gotta take the borders off to use them, but it is what it is. I'm not concerned about that. I will do that after I worked all the colors that I wanted. I decided I wanted to make it a little cohesive, so I decided to border all the pink granny squares. So I decided to make a border on all the pink granny squares, and I just used this Lion brand Pound of Love yarn in the color Antique White. So I'm gonna let you see what's the sizes of the granny squares. So all of the granny squares are approximately 6 inches. Ooh, 6 inches. Oh, you can't even see that. The granny squares are approximately 6 inches by 6 inches. Yeah, so they're all 6 by 6. And like I said, I just went through all my scrap yarn and took out all the shades of pink, no matter what shade it was, worked it up into a granny square, and then put a border of the antique white around it. And I plan on turning this into a sweater. So of course I will take y'all along with me when I finally get that done. I'm not really sure how many squares I'm going to need. I'm just going to continue. I'm going to start to put the sweater together, and then I'm going to continue to work up the rest of the granny squares that I have. And I'll be sure to bring y'all back to let y'all see that. So that is one project that I currently have going on. Another project that I'm currently working on is this Bonfire Beach Hoodie designed by Evelyn and Peter. I am using the exact yarn that the pattern calls for, the Lion brand Oh Baby Organic Cotton. I actually really like this yarn. It is a fine yarn. It's pretty thin, which is one of the reasons why I thought it would be a good thing to work on right now, because this, I feel like, would be a nice little hoodie to wear, you know, in this warmer weather. But yeah, this is Oh Baby Organic 100% cotton yarn. These are 1.75 ounce balls. It's a number 2 fine yarn, and this is in the color tan. This is a very nice yarn though. This particular pattern is being worked up in a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. I did change it a little bit. Like she has an actual ribbon around the waist of hers, and I wanted mine to be a little more looser. So instead of going into the back loops of the pattern, I went into the front loops so that I wouldn't actually have that stretchy ribbon. So far I've only gotten the back panel of the project worked up, but I am still working on it. I do plan on completing it. I'm really excited to, you know, to finish it. It's not a difficult pattern to follow at all. As you can see, it says it's a level 2 easy project, which is pretty true. It's not too difficult to work up. I have not, of course, got to the hood yet, but I don't see that really being an issue as well. Also, the last project I showed y'all, I didn't tell y'all the size I was working it up in. I'm actually using a size F 3.75 millimeter crochet needle to work on my granny square sweater. So for right now, that is the actual projects that I have started. I don't have anything else actually started, but I do want to show y'all a couple of the things that I also want to work on. So in addition to this sweater and that sweater, I also want to make a little color block sweater. And the next project that I'm actually planning on starting is a color block sweater for my granddaughter. My granddaughter really likes the colors pink and purple, and shopping in the Dollar Tree, because you're always in the Dollar Tree, shopping in the Dollar Tree, because I'm always in the Dollar Tree, especially now that they have yarn. I came across these Just Yarn worsted in the colors. This is actually in the color Petunia. This one is in the color Purple, and this one is in the color Amethyst. And I just felt like she would really like a sweater. I felt like she would really like something with these colors, because she loves the colors pink and purple. So I decided I was going to purchase these yarns and start working on a color block sweater for her. I have not completely decided on the stitch that I want to use to make it, but I have narrowed it down to a few, and it's just going to be a basic sweater, you know, 2 panels in the front, a back, and 2 sleeves. But I will also, of course, bring y'all along with me as I make this sweater. So for right now, that's actually all I have in the works, other than, of course, my Crochet Society boxes. But I'm going to come back in another video when I have multiple projects to show y'all, so I'm not just giving y'all little clips of 1 or 2 things. Okay, so that's it for now, guys. Thank you very much for joining me. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and come back and join me in the next video. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.